evening, good evening. John here with Top Church. The life is better after to week Tuesday. I'm excited to be with you. I pray that your week has been full of God's grace, has been full of God's mercy, God's love as we journey life. So why don't you do and please share your prayer requests. Prepare to go as we prepare to pray tonight. To be public with your prayer request to 833-202-60, and we will be for you. But pray with you. It's our belief created the foundation of because of that it's very, very important to understand that to connect on such a level. God wants us that would bring him glory, that would bring him honor. Just pray for you, but this is why we along the journey. I see that with the sound. The sound is a little bit better now. Let me better now. But again, you can put your comments, but you could also text your prayer 215-0260. So this past weekend was such an amazing weekend. Pentecost Sunday, and if you weren't in anyone's worship service, I hate to say that you missed it, but I do believe breath in your body and air in your lungs have another opportunity to tangible presence of God. This past Sunday, how God alters my language, and we just had an amazing. And my bride, she blessed us on Sunday evening as we support her in ministry, and I'm so proud about what God is doing. Again, you missed it, but more and more opportunities to just simply experience who He is, and not just what people. It comes different when you're able to experience who He is and God from what people have said. We're gonna dive into the word for the word tonight comes from a disciple that I love to read about. We're gonna look at First John 5, and we're gonna look at verse 15. So we've kind of without saying, we've had a thing of we've kind of been having a thing, and I believe that God is leading us to the Tuesdays of the last maybe 2 months. We're gonna put that actually into material. Pray that that's gonna be a blessing. The theme is Hindered prayer. Really officially said this. I'm sorry, I don't know what the sound is. We haven't officially said this, but that our prayers can be if we're not in the right opposition, things that that's still cooperation. Some people like to be God as this sovereign being, that God is so, and yes, He is sovereign, does reign. However, even though He does reign, there are still some things in our everyday life that depend. There are many things that depend on our yes, no, depend on our surrenders or our obedience, and in deep into that. So our scripture said, no, First John. I'm sorry about the sound. I don't know the sound tonight, but we're going to look at First, and we're going to look at verses 14. We're going to look at a different translation. So please follow with me. First John, the 5th chapter, verses 14. First John 5, verses. It reads like this. It starts off by, we have this confidence, have great boldness, or if we ask anything agree. Look at that word, agreeable. This is very vital. For if we ask anything agreeable to His will, verse 15 says this. Verse 15, know that He hears us. He asks. We also know that the request we ask of Him. This is so deep. This is. I'm going to read it again just for clarity. Verse 14 says, verse we have this confidence. Since we can also have great boldness. We can also have great before Him. For if we ask anything of His will, He will hear us. Know that He hears us. We ask. We also know the request that. This is so powerful. This is so important. So as we dive deep, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question tonight. The question I want to ask is the question that I want to ask simply this is, with your prayers, does God with your prayers? Does He agree? Because so often get to a point and we can get in a habit of praying a prayer, or we can start praying a prayer considering the perfect will of God. We can start praying prayers without considering. We can start praying prayers considering our thoughts, our will, and all of the things that we desire, that we want. And the question comes, does God want the very thing that God wants, the very thing that you want, the very thing that you hope? Really want to dive deep into this to understand that is very to come to a conclusion where we agree with God, that we love God, that we align ourselves with the heart of God. I believe that we're still having connection. So give me one moment. I understand